Welcome, my political friends of the interwebs. I was not going to do a video today. I swear to you, I was not. I thought I'd give you guys a little break from me. You know, sometimes I get a little crazy. I make video after video after video. And although there are a lot of you who say you can't get enough of my videos, I realize that some of you are like, oh, good Lord, another video from Colonel Hunter. But listen, when I bring this story to when I start talking about what I'm about to talk about, you'll know. If you know me at all, you'll know that I got sucked in on this one, and there was no way I was just going to sit still for it. Okay, so I'm at Drudge today, and there was a report that came out regarding Barack Obama and what I refer to as his redistribution of wealth from the taxpayers, including, by the way, the middle class taxpayers, to his cronies in this whole green scam. But basically, President Obama redistributed $9 billion, that's with a B, billion dollars of taxpayers' money to the solar and wind boondoggles, is exactly what it is. And here's the ironic thing. This, by the way, this study only covers from 2009 to 2011. As we all know, 2012 has not been a kind year to the, shall we say, green sector. Lots of foreclosures, lots of people being laid off or flat out being let go, you know. And so, keep that in mind when I tell you about this. So the study that calculated the numbers between 2009 and 2011, okay, it resulted in, okay, now remember, $9 billion resulted in 910 direct jobs. That's right, direct jobs. And that means that each job created, okay, cost the taxpayers $9.8 million. $9.8 million. Now, those are direct jobs. And the argument, of course, is going to be, well, you know, for every direct job, you create a whole bunch of indirect jobs, which, believe me, I completely understand that, because I've always said, when you put a coal miner out of work, you've put 10 people out of work. Okay, so remember that all through Appalachia. Remember that Pennsylvania, by the way, come November. Remember that Pennsylvania. West Virginia, believe me, they know. Kentucky knows. I'm hoping Ohio figures it out. But all through the coal-bearing regions through Appalachia, and I know there are a lot of coal-bearing regions out west too, you all are on board with this. You all know what I'm talking about when I talk about indirect jobs. Okay, but let's get back to the story at hand. Okay, so they say that of the $9.8 million to establish each job, it also created, well, I should say 910 direct jobs. It also created 4,600 indirect jobs. Okay, or positions, blah, 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 which, totally cool. But that still means that each job then, if you do the math, okay, each one of those jobs cost $1.9 million each. Almost $2 million for each indirect job. You know? I think it would have been money much better spent if they would have just given everybody, $2 million and said, have a nice day. Because those people would have spent that money and would have stimulated the economy a whole lot better. But here's the problem with that. If you do it that way, you cannot pad the pockets or stuff the pockets of the Obama cronies. Because it's, this whole thing is nothing but crony capitalism. It run amok. Chicago-style crony capitalism run amok is exactly what this whole green boondoggle has become. And I know that there are people out there, and even a couple of people who enjoy my videos, who really want to believe in this green nonsense. I mean, they really, really do. They want to deep down inside believe in this. Of course, a lot of them have been indoctrinated from school. But, also the media. I mean, there is an effect. The media does have an indoctrination effect. If you hear the same lie over and over and over and over, eventually, believe it or not, on a subconscious level, you start accepting it as truth. Now, I deal with this every single day. I talk to people who really truly believe that this green energy policy that we have in this country is working out fabulously, you know, and they really believe it's about time, and thank God that we finally have a president with the intestinal fortitude to go forward with this and say no to the old energy and yes to the new energy. I mean, I see these people. I talk to these people. It's absolutely amazing. They have no clue. If you were to tell them, okay, that these jobs cost this much per job from their tax money, they wouldn't believe it. They would think that I'm spreading some lies, some bullshit, blah, 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 election year nonsense to bring down the president. They're immune to truth or facts because they've been so deeply indoctrinated into this nonsense. You know, and I've always said, by the way, you know, I mean, just so we're clear, I am pro alternative energy and pro alternative energy development. I just think that you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't put coal miners and related people out of work for a pipe dream or something that may not be here for decades. Because, you know, we've made huge strides in batteries and in wind power and in solar, all that. We've made huge strides in that. But if you really look at it, took a step back and looked at it logically and took it for what it is, we're nowhere near capable of replacing fossil fuels. It's just not there yet, no matter how much you would like to believe that. Now, having said that, people like Al Gore over the years have said to people, look, it's going to be painful, but we have to endure it. It's like childbirth. Yes, it's a very painful process, but you will have a rebirth at the end. And you'll forget about the pain. Listen, you know, from what I can tell from this green boondoggle, it's been a stillborn. I mean, I hate to say it. It's sad news. I know nobody wants to hear this, but it's a fact. You know, it's just a fact. You know, meanwhile, we have coal miners, we have power plant workers. And I have, by the way, I have a couple of power plant workers that subscribe to my videos. You know, in the comment section, you know, if you guys catch one of these, or catch this video, let everybody know how you feel about the situation, because I know for a fact that you're laid off right now. You know, and that's the thing. You know, you think about when you graduate from high school and you go out into the world, and, you know, typically when you're a young person, 18, 19, 20 years old, you're usually working, you know, kind of bullshit jobs, and you're making maybe a little bit better than minimum wage. You know, you kind of feel, you know, you want to get out there in the world, you want to get some experience, you're working your way up, but then here's the thing, you're always trying, and I remember this, you know, because me and all my friends were in the same boat, okay? I remember this. I mean, it was like, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Now, I chose joining the military, but, you know, the friends of mine that did not, they were always trying to get on to what they considered a good job. For example, in Toledo, Ohio, where I grew up, you know, a good job was getting in at the Jeep plant, or getting in at Libby Glass, or getting in at Hydromatic. Hydromatic makes transmissions for General Motors. You know, those were the jobs you wanted to get. You know, and if you landed those jobs, I mean, you know, it was amazing because it was like a big celebration. And people would say, hey, did you hear Jimmy got in at Hydromatic? Or did you hear that Bobby got in at Ford, or at Chrysler, or at Jeep? You know, that was the big news. It's like, no kid, or so-and-so got in on the railroad. You know, that was a big thing for us, you know. And it was like, yeah, they made it. So now I want you to picture this. You've got a guy, he's out of high school, he's making his way in life, he's getting a little work experience, he's trying to better himself, and he lands a job at a power plant. You know, let's say it's 1990, he lands a job at a power plant. Okay, now these aren't chicken shit jobs, these aren't Walmart jobs, these are real jobs. He lands a job at a power plant, and he's like, oh, I've made it. He wants to marry his high school sweetheart, buy a house, start a family. This is what he's doing. Okay, but unbeknownst to him, years down the road, a bunch of green, crazy people would take over the world, and then his job would be gone. So, you got a guy, he buys himself a house, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 house, middle class. You know, he marries his high school sweetheart. They have, you know, what, 1.2 children, however that works, however the math works on that. He's raising the kids, he's feeding them, he's clothing them, he's got them into a decent school, you know, he's in a decent neighborhood, everything's going beautifully. Down the road, all of a sudden, he finds out that there's a whole sea change, and that everybody's going green. He's working at the power plant, and all of a sudden he's hearing rumors, and the rumors are, hey, they're going to shut this plant down. They don't want us burning coal anymore. And the dude says, holy shit, what am I going to do? He didn't go to college, you know. Not that that matters in today's job market, but he didn't go to college. His only skill for the last 20 years has been, you know, maybe running the boiler or whatever at the power plant. You know, maybe he ran the front end loader that scooped up the coal and fed the furnaces. I mean, you know, that's his skill. That's his job. That's all he's done for 20 years. You know, he's still got another 10 years to pay on his house. His kids are getting ready to graduate from high school. He wanted to send them to college. Hell, he was making $80,000 or $80,000 a year. Now all of a sudden, because of this green nonsense, which really is what it is, this fleecing of America, now all of a sudden he doesn't have a job. Doesn't have a job. He's laid off. Doesn't know how he's going to pay his mortgage payment. House that he's paid on for 20 years. Doesn't know what he's going to tell his children when it comes to school. You know, maybe his daughter is all excited. Maybe, you know, maybe she got, you know, really good grades. Maybe she busted her butt through school. You know, maybe not enough to get a bunch of scholarships, but she's definitely college material. What's he telling her now? Uncle Sam's got your college money. You know, take out student loans, run up $50,000, $60,000 in debt by the time you're 24 years old. You know, what's he tell his wife when the mortgage payments are coming in and he can't pay them? You know, what's he going to do? Put yourself in his position. Oh, no, for what? So some of Obama's friends can get a $10 million or $500 million check to run some solar company into the ground. Meanwhile, they pocketed a shit ton of it. I mean, where are the indictments on all this? Where seriously, where are the indictments? I mean, really? This is the world we live in now. You know, it's unbelievable to me that there isn't more outright anger about this. It's unbelievable to me that the media isn't doing, you know, expose after expose on who got this money. $9 billion. $9 billion. And you know, when's the last time you've seen on your news a coal miner being interviewed? And when's the last time you've seen a railroad conductor being interviewed? You know, people don't realize this, but the main rail carriers, I think it's 40%, 30 or 40% of their income comes from hauling coal. Yeah, coal. So what's that tell you about that industry? I hope you don't own railroad stocks right now. I mean, there's some fudging of the numbers right now, and hauling of manufactured goods is making up the difference. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. That's election year bullshit. The fact of the matter is that the rail carriers are hurting. Truckers. I knew a guy that owned 3 trucks. He was an independent. He owned 3 coal hauling trucks. He hired 2 guys. Okay, he ran 3 trucks, and their job was to go to the mine, have the trucks loaded up with coal, and take the coal to the tipple. That's what they did all day long, back and forth from the coal mining site to the tipple, coal mining site to the tipple. He's lost his trucks. But he couldn't keep them. Couldn't keep them. The 2 guys that worked for him are no longer working. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I'm sure they're drawing unemployment, unenjoyment, the Obama way. And I guarantee you, if you ask them, would they rather be working or would they rather be drawing a check? I guarantee you, each and every one of those men would tell you that they would rather be working. So this guy's business has been destroyed. People have been put out of work, and for what? For this $9 billion boondoggle? $2 million per job? Fleecing of the middle class? Fleecing of the taxpayer? Redistribution of wealth? Now you know what redistribution of wealth looks like. Wake up. Or stay stupid. Vote. You can vote for Obama if you want to stay stupid. Anyway, I'm running on to 15 minutes here. I didn't want this to go on this long. But you people know how much this drives me crazy. You know how much this has affected me. And I don't want to make this about me. But I'll tell you what. I went from making over $10,000 a month to making about $95 a month. Okay? So, yeah, I'm a little pissed off. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all. See ya.